Charlotte Flair's return appears to be setting a lot of other things in motion, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check out what's going on with the women's tag team titles, Bianca Belair, and much more. Let's start things off with a brief but major update for the women's tag team titles. So, throughout the first few years of the women's tag team titles existing, WWE had a special rule in place where the women's tag team champions could travel in between Raw and SmackDown to defend their titles on either brand, which was a cool little feature because the division was always thin. So the fact that the champions could face teams from either brand was definitely something great. But then the rule got extended and branched out even more with the inclusion of the NXT Women's Tag Team division. Now the women's tag team champions were able to go to NXT, as well as face tag teams from that brand. So it's always a great feature that the women's tag team champions basically had a free pass to appear on all three major WWE brands. WWE really used this feature back in 2020, where Sasha Banks and Bayley went over to NXT to make some appearances and defend their titles. And it really helped NXT at the time feature these two huge stars from the main roster. But then shortly after that, WWE introduced NXT exclusive women tag team titles in 2021. And that instantly received some mixed reactions from the fans because the division was already weak, even with WWE featuring three brands in the division. So to now divide the main roster and the NXT women's tag team divisions into two separate pools was a questionable decision. But it looks like things will be returning to how it was a few years ago. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn were drafted to SmackDown during the 2023 draft while holding the NXT Women's Tag Team titles, and some fans were confused at first for why they were still holding on to the titles. But now we see why. On the June 9th edition of SmackDown, WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler had a face-off with the NXT Women's Tag Team titles Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. This confrontation was done to set up a tag team title unification match between both sets of tag team champions. Reports claim that the decision to unify both pairs of women's tag team titles is something that's been in the works since April, but how injuries and other little bumps in the road got in the way and kept delaying the unification. This tag team title unification match will serve one big purpose of pretty much retiring the NXT women's tag team titles, only after 2 years of existence. Reports claim that everything will go back to how it first was, with the women's tag team champions having to appear on all three brands once again. The women's tag team champions won't make regular appearances on NXT, but they'll make some guest appearances on NXT every so often and whenever WWE decides to use them on the show. As far as predictions for who will be the new unified women's tag team champions, it's looking like Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler will pick up the win here to keep their titles and unify them with the NXT titles. Ronda and Shayna just won their tag team titles themselves barely a few weeks ago, so you can't really afford to keep the hot potato theme going here for the women's tag team titles. So it'll probably be the best option for Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler to retain their titles and score that big victory of unifying their titles with the NXT ones. It'll be a great start to Ronda and Shayna's tag team titles reign. Lots of fans have high expectations for this tag team title reign for Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Shayna was even speaking in a recent interview about how these titles weren't just handed to them. They had to scratch and claw for the opportunity, and how they're extremely happy to be the tag team champions. So hopefully, Ronda and Shayna can elevate these titles to great new levels. Speaking of major events, let's go over what recently happened on the June 9th edition of SmackDown regarding the Women's Championship. So we just went over how WWE knew about their plans to unify the women's tag team titles before the draft. And it looks like they also had plans already in mind to change the main women's titles as well. The 2023 WWE draft saw the Raw Women's Championship go to SmackDown, and the SmackDown Women's Championship go to Raw. Lots of fans were confused. There was no title swap segment, Commentators in WWE ignored the fact that the wrong branded title was on the opposite show, and it was just a small but confusing issue. Well, it looks like this was also done because WWE plans were to remove the brand labels from the women's titles, which is a very nice change because the women's world titles were the only titles on the main roster to still feature a brand label. So the Raw and SmackDown women's titles have technically been retired and renamed. Asuka no longer holds the Raw women's title. She now holds a championship called the WWE Women's Championship. The title shares a lot of resemblance to Roman Reigns' title, just with a white color strap. Rhea Ripley hasn't received her new title at the time of this recording, but everyone expects Rhea's title to be named something along the lines of World's Women's Championship, and most likely feature a white strap version of Seth Rollins' title. So it's a nice little change, and it's a nice release from the restraints of the branded titles. The two women's world titles will now feature different designs, stand out more now on their own, and most importantly, they're not tied down and labeled after specific brands. So it's a nice and refreshing change for the women's titles. Speaking of the women's titles, let's go over the big return from Charlotte Flair. So when it was announced that WWE would be introducing a new women's title, lots of fans were joking about how it meant that Charlotte was making her return and how she wanted the title. And surprisingly enough, what the fans were joking about actually came true. Charlotte returned and made her first WWE appearance since WrestleMania 39 to confront Asuka and cut the line for a title match. Adam Pearce tells Charlotte Flair to get to the back of the line and wait for an opportunity, but Charlotte Flair says that she doesn't want to wait in line and how she's the one that created the line. Asuka goes for the mist, but Charlotte is able to dodge it and take out Asuka. It's later announced that Charlotte will get a title match against Asuka in the near future. Now, mind you that this all went down after Bianca Belair confronted Adam Pearce about wanting her own title rematch as well. Adam Pearce told Bianca not to get involved in the title segment and how she'll get a rematch if she just stays out of everything that was happening that night. Bianca agreed to be good and stay out of it, only for Charlotte to return from a 3-month hiatus and instantly cut in front of Bianca in line for the title. Furious, Bianca Belair went up to Adam Pearce again following Charlotte's return and said he'll figure everything out. Bianca took to Twitter to voice her opinion on Charlotte's return and talked about how she didn't understand how Charlotte can just come out and demand a title match and how it's given to her. Bianca then addressed what many fans were labeling as a botch from Charlotte Flair. When Charlotte was challenging Asuka to a title match, Charlotte was pointing and looking at the Raw Women's title that had just been retired, instead of pointing at the new title that was right around Asuka's waist, which was a bit confusing to viewers. Bianca Belair posted the video to Charlotte's confusion and had this to say, quote, "Well, apparently we have rematches for different titles, so problem solved," end quote. A lot of fans wonder if this recent event of getting cut in line by Charlotte Flair could also contribute to Bianca Belair's eventual heel turn. Bianca tried being nice and listening to what was asked of her by Adam Pearce, but in the end, it just made her look like a fool. So, is Bianca taking a lot of mental notes from what's happening around her right now? And could this lead to her snapping and taking that heel route with her character? It most definitely seems like the seeds are being planted here for something like that to go down. So it'll be very interesting to keep an eye on. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.